Welcome back to Baldy's Thoughts. Normally, for Black History Month, we celebrate the legacies that paved our way forward. But today, I'm flipping the script. We're about to get real, no sugarcoating, about the black voters who backed Donald J. Trump this time around. The ones who never read a word of Project 2025 yet helped put it into motion. This isn't going to be comfortable. We're talking about a man with 30-plus felony charges, a man called a rapist by many around the world, and the policies that threaten to strip away decades of civil rights. If that makes you uneasy, good, because sometimes we need to feel that heat before we realize what's at stake. Let's dive into why we can't just shrug off Project 2025 and how this all ties into the legacy we're supposed to honor during Black History Month. You knew there was something called Project 2025, but you never bothered to crack open a page to see what it would do. You heard rumors about civil rights protections being stripped away, about social programs getting gutted, about new voter restrictions targeting black communities. Yet you brushed all that off. You saw Donald Trump's name and, without hesitation, decided he was your guy. You told yourself he was the one who put stimulus money in your pocket back in 2020. Never mind that Congress wrote the checks, or that he was relatable because he was a criminal like you. But here's the question you never answered. How on earth can you admire a man that has been convicted of 34 felony charges so serious that much of the world calls him a rapist, a con man, while you, or someone you love, lost the right to vote for years over a single felony? Worse yet, you're fine overlooking his trail of alleged infidelities, even if you say you'd leave your own spouse for cheating. You claim your cousin got locked up because someone lied on him, but you shrug your shoulders at the many women who've said Donald Trump violated them. You saw this man brag about being the only genius in a White House full of stupid people he hired himself. You watched as Elon Musk, someone Trump once called another genius, pulled the rug out from under him by banning him on social media, turning him into a sideshow. You heard him speak to Black America with one breath, "I need your vote," and in the next, dismissing your actual lived experiences. You nodded along as he stoked fear about immigrants, crime and conspiracies, never stopping to wonder if those old, recycled tactics of fear-mongering might eventually be turned against you. And that's exactly where Project 2025 comes in. Prepared by the Heritage Foundation and other conservative groups, it's not some dusty policy memo. It's a detailed plan to overhaul federal agencies and roll back decades of social and civil rights gains. If you'd taken 10 minutes to examine it, you'd see it includes downsizing the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division, cutting back on diversity grants that help black-owned businesses, imposing tighter voter ID requirements that are guaranteed to make it harder for some of us to vote, reimposing harsh sentencing rules in a criminal justice system already stacked against black people, and whittling away social programs that keep many families afloat. So, when Martin Luther King Jr. Day vanishes from the federal calendar, when your child's school suddenly stops commemorating Black History Month or starts tiptoeing around the very idea of systemic racism, don't act surprised. The signs were all there. When your neighbor sees their Medicaid or SNAP benefits sliced because Project 2025 introduced new work requirements that don't consider people juggling childcare or multiple part-time jobs, you have no right to say you couldn't see it coming. When another wave of law and order policy hits and your once incarcerated relatives are thrown back into a system that punishes them all over again, you can't claim ignorance. You fell for a pitch, "Make America Great Again," without asking who decides what great means or what decade they want us to return to. Donald Trump told you he'd fight for you, but you saw how quickly he turned on his own advisors, calling them idiots and firing them on a whim. Did you really think he'd remain loyal to you when he couldn't stay loyal to his own team? He told you he was wrongfully accused, and you gave him the benefit of the doubt. Never mind that you or your brother or your friend lost jobs, relationships, maybe even years of freedom under far shakier accusations. If you continue to cling to that red cap and call him a savior, while entire libraries of Black history textbooks are being purged, while entire neighborhoods are bracing for lost social funding, then you're on the wrong side of this moment in history. Fearmongering is an age-old trick, and Trump used it expertly. He's not the first politician to wave the flag of tough on crime, while quietly dismantling the very protections that help keep marginalized communities safe. He won't be the last to exploit anxiety and a hunger for a hero, especially among folks who feel the system never gave them a fair shot. What's different now is that everything we warned about in 2016, in 2020, and again in 2024 is coming home to roost. With Project 2025, the threat isn't vague. It's not just rhetoric. It's in the form of real policy proposals to expand policing, slash funding for essential programs, and erase the lessons of our history from the national stage. Don't blame anyone else when you realize that your vote helped grease the gears of this machine. And yet, it's not too late to pay attention. Even now, you can open your eyes, learn the details, and demand accountability from your local representatives, from every official endorsing Project 2025, and from the very people trying to take your rights with one hand while shaking your other hand on the campaign trail. If you won't do it, future generations will look back and wonder how we stood by while Dr. King's legacy was undercut, and while entire communities were left unprotected by a system we should have known better than to trust. So own it if you're going to wear that hat. Own the broken promises, the cheap fear tactics, and the grinning dismissal of Black lives and Black history. If you chose Trump, you also chose Project 2025, and with it the dismantling of civil rights your parents and grandparents fought for. That will be your legacy, standing on the sidelines while decades of hard-earned progress vanished with a pen stroke. If that's the hill you want to die on, so be it. But remember that history is written by those who bother to turn the page and read what's actually there. And that's the raw truth, right there. Project 2025 isn't some distant plan. It's a reality that could roll back our civil rights at the stroke of a pen. We just walked through the ways Black communities, especially those who backed the man at the center of this, stand to lose the most. So here's the question. Are we going to keep ignoring these glaring contradictions because we like a politician's bravado? Or are we going to wake up and fight for what generations before us bled to secure? It's still Black History Month, so let's remember that our ancestors challenged oppression head-on. They didn't wait for invitations, and they sure didn't stay silent when confronted with danger. If this hit home, make sure you drop a comment letting me know your thoughts on Project 2025. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next episode, because we've got more truths to uncover. As always, I'm Brian, and this has been Baldy's Thoughts. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and never forget that our history and our future are worth defending.